I just wanted to share my experience with this in case anyone else is considering it, because I have been living with one of these for years, and it has become one of those home things I mostly stop thinking about, which is usually a good sign. What it is in normal terms is a wall-mounted indoor unit and an outdoor unit that work together to cool and heat a space without tying into ductwork. If you have a room that central air never really gets right, like a finished garage, a bonus room, a home office that bakes in the afternoon, or a bedroom that needs quiet cooling at night, this kind of system makes sense. In my case, I put it in a space that always ran warmer than the rest of the house, and I was tired of wrestling with vents and fans. The reason I picked this particular model was simple. I wanted something I could install without needing vacuum pumps and refrigerant tools, and I wanted something that could handle both cooling and heating, so it would not just sit there half the year. This one is built around the idea that a careful homeowner can install it with the Lineset already charged and sealed up in a way that does not require the usual specialized steps. That is the main difference in day-to-day reality. It does not magically make installation effortless, but it does make it realistic. Looking at it up close, the indoor unit has the typical mini split shape. It is a clean white plastic housing, not trying to be a decor piece, but it blends in fine once it is on the wall. The front panel feels sturdy enough for normal use, and it opens in a straightforward way when you need to clean the filters. The louvers move smoothly, and after a lot of cycles over the years, mine have not gotten noisy or loose. The outdoor unit feels like what it is, a metal box that lives outside. It has held up through normal weather, and I have not had to baby it, beyond keeping leaves and debris from building up around it. Installation is the part most people worry about, and I think it is worth being honest here. It is doable, but it is not a casual afternoon project if you have never done anything like it. The hardest parts are picking a good location, drilling the wall opening cleanly, mounting the bracket level, and then taking your time routing the line set without kinking anything. The included line set length worked for my layout, but it did force me to plan the indoor and outdoor placement around that length. If your situation needs a longer run, you need to think that through before you commit. What I liked is that once I had everything physically mounted and routed, the connections were straightforward. I still took my time, because a slow, careful install is cheaper than fixing a mistake later. I also paid attention to things like vibration and noise. If you mount the outdoor unit on a pad and make sure nothing is rattling against the wall, it stays pretty quiet. Inside, it is the kind of sound you can live with. On low fan at night, it fades into the background for me. On high fan, you will hear airflow, but it is not the harsh sound I associate with a window unit. Daily use is where this system has been genuinely nice. I use auto a lot because I do not want to think about it. When I want quick cooling, I set it to cool mode and pick a fan speed. It responds fast, and you can feel the air change in a couple of minutes. Heat mode has been more useful than I expected. For shoulder seasons, when the house is just chilly in the morning, I can run it for a bit and get the room comfortable without heating the entire house. The remote is simple, and it is what I use most of the time. The buttons are not confusing, and it is easy to adjust temperature and fan speed without staring at it too long. One small feature I appreciate more than I thought I would is being able to turn off the indoor display light. In a bedroom at night, that little light can be annoying. I like that I can shut it off and still keep the room cool. Over time, I have also used the phone app. I'm not someone who wants an app for everything, but I will say it has been useful in real life. If I am out and I know I will be back later, I can turn it on ahead of time so the room is comfortable when I walk in. If I forgot to turn it off, I can check and shut it down. Setup for the app took me a little patience, mostly because home wireless networks can be finicky, and I remember needing to try it twice before it stayed connected. After that, it has been stable for me. I do not live in the app, but it has earned its place. In real-world performance, it cools the space it is meant to cool. That sounds obvious, but what I mean is it does not feel like it is always straining. On hot days, it runs steadily and keeps up, and the temperature in the room stays consistent instead of swinging. Humidity control in dry mode also helps when it is muggy. It is not a dehumidifier replacement, but it takes the edge off and makes the room feel less sticky. Energy use is always hard to talk about without turning it into a spreadsheet, so I will keep it practical. I did not see a scary jump in my electric bill when I started using it regularly. The system tends to settle into a steady run instead of blasting on and off all the time, and that matches what I see in comfort. It maintains rather than overcorrects. Maintenance has been simple. I clean the filters regularly. If you ignore the filters, airflow drops and everything gets worse, so it is worth doing. I also keep the outdoor unit clear and make sure nothing is blocking it. That has basically been it. After years of use, I have not had to call anyone for repairs on mine. I am sure that varies by install quality and climate, but my experience has been uneventful in the best way. Now for the parts that are not perfect. The do-it-yourself install is friendly compared to a traditional mini-split, but it still demands attention to detail. If you are not comfortable drilling through an exterior wall and sealing it correctly against water and pests, you might want help for that portion. Another limitation is planning around the line set length. It can make placement less flexible than you might want. Also, while the app is useful, it is one more thing that depends on your home wireless connection, and if your signal is weak where the unit is installed, you may need to sort that out. Overall, after living with this system for years, my impression is that it is a practical solution for heating and cooling a specific space without messing with ducts. It has been reliable in my house. It is easy to live with day to day, and it gives me a level of control that I did not have before. If you are the kind of person who likes the idea of zoned comfort, where one room can be handled on its own schedule, this type of setup makes a lot of sense. If you have any questions about my install, the way I use the modes, or what I would do differently if I installed another one, leave a comment. Subscribe to the channel if you want more real-world home tech reviews, and thank you for watching.